We want to bring in Dan O'Shea. He is a retired Navy SEAL commander and former hostage negotiator. I just want to build off of Alicia's incredible reporting there as we watch the live pictures. What do you make of what you're seeing over in the grounds there right now? It looks like they're still sort of working perhaps in a water or sewer line there, also working around some of the vegetation on the grounds.
Well, obviously, intelligence has come in, maybe from the second ransom note that they haven't released the details publicly, but it gave some more insight because the kidnappers have to prove that they have Miss Guthrie in custody and in their possession, if you will. And maybe that is what's driving this new investigation. But again, the officials are being very tight-lipped at this point. There's such media focus, and I think that the constant media circus is only complicating efforts. But I think personally, this is exactly what the abductors want. They're doing this intentionally. And I think they're more interested in less in money and more in exposure. And they're getting everything they asked for. I
asked Alicia if it might be useful for investigators to also work with local Spanish television. There is a wide and diverse population in that area. Maybe that could also, again, help get word out. If you see something, say something. Does that happen in the course of investigation at all? Do they sort of send messages out broadly to different communities?
Well, this is a unique case. Again, it's being fueled. The virality of the story, the public pleas by Savannah and her siblings begging for a proof of life, wanting to say, hey, we will pay. Which I think as I understand, she's made a commitment that they're going to pay the ransom without confirming proof of life, which is a catastrophic mistake. I think the media exposure is exactly what the abductors wanted. They're getting what they want. And right now they're willing to have someone potentially send millions of dollars in Bitcoin that is going to be very hard to trace back for no gain. And I think, but this is what's driving this story. And it's taking other stories off the news. And I think there's multiple other layers we need to be looking at, about the motives of the kidnappers themselves.
Yeah, and I think it's fair. People have said, listen, people go missing all the time. I do think, however, this is a circumstance that is an unusual and a unique one. And I think it's fair to say it's not every day that someone of national note has a parent go missing in such a way. There was apparently... at least my understanding is, and Alicia alluded to this, as did Jonathan Hunt, Saturday night, investigators were back over at Annie Guthrie's home. Is that just sort of dotting I's and crossing T's? You sort of keep going back over to the home of different family members. Walk me through the thinking behind going back over, taking more pictures, or maybe removing items.
Well, bottom line is, in a lot of kidnappings, it's usually many times there are family members or relatives involved. There's internal family jealousies. There's resentment with maybe one sibling who's done very well and the others who haven't. So they've got to overturn every stone. And when more intelligence come in, they need to go back. And that's why you're seeing this exhaustive. I mean, we're at day 8 of this crisis. The clock is ticking. Nancy Guthrie is supposed to be on daily meds. She presumably hasn't had in a week. So I think everything is ratcheting up, and why they're going after anything and everything, including going back to family members to rule out all possibilities.
Let me ask you, as a former hostage negotiator, what is the message you're trying to get out to the apparent abductors in this circumstance? I thought the family, with their videos, have really done an effective job, Dan, of not just humanizing what's happening, but also sending messaging out there saying, listen, we understand, we are in contact the best way we can with you, we will pay. I think they're handling this the right way. As a former hostage negotiator, is there anything more that ought to be happening?
Well, to be frank, this is the last scenario a hostage negotiator wants to be in, because you want to do negotiations in good faith behind the scenes where you're going one-on-one and you're holding on to the leverage. They want the money. You want your husband, loved one, grandmother back, whoever that is. So this exposure does not help the situation. And, it's hard. I mean, the first letter, the first public plea that they made out to the world with her two siblings, on either side of her. They made all the right statements. They were saying, we need proof of life. We want to confirm that she's alive. She's a wonderful person. They're humanizing them. They're raising the value of the hostage, the emotional value in the eyes of the kidnapper. But now they're turning over all the leverage. So the kidnappers or the abductors, they have all the leverage in this game. The fact that they've said, we will pay without proof of life. And it'd be one thing if it was a direct phone call between Savannah and the kidnappers on a phone call, because normally kidnappers will call the house and make the demands. In this case, they're pushing the demands through the media. Again, not a good faith negotiation. So all leverage is in the hand of the abductors at this point. And every time they're making another statement, they're giving that up, and they're putting it out on Instagram, which is just, what is the last place you want to do sensitive negotiations.
We've got about 30 seconds left. What, if anything, can you offer to the family? They're hanging on to hope, and God bless them. As I've mentioned before, Savannah's a friend personally, and I'm obviously praying for her, as are millions of Americans out there hoping for the very best outcome here.
Listen, my heart goes out to the family, and I have to say this, I worked over 400 kidnappings in Iraq, 40-plus American kidnapping cases, and we always had to start with a presumption that their loved one was not coming home because of the scenario. And 20 years since, I've studied hundreds of kidnapping cases. This one is so unique, so challenging, and the family cannot give up hope, but a miracle is needed at this point, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, we are definitely not going to give up hope. Dan O'Shea, former hostage negotiator, thank you for your time today. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.